Welcome back to Pisces TV with Dr. MB. We are getting started with your reading. Thank all of you for tuning in. I definitely appreciate your support. If you don't mind, hit that like button now before you forget, because it helps with the algorithm to keep the channel going, keep hope alive, right? And feel free to hit it once it resonates, if it resonates, and if it does, when it does. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, so that you receive the alerts, because that's kind of important. Check the video tab, and we'll go ahead and get started. I am doing things just a tad bit different, not a great deal, just a different selection, to give you the most accurate, authentic, what's necessary for the different positions of what could be in your environment. Use your best judgment. Let's go. The first card to come out gave me a very empowering vibe to it. You got Amatrin, and that's energetic, intuitive, and connected. It shows here Libra, Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto. What I loved about it the most was the encouragement. It asks you to get in. Okay, I'm struggling with the oil. It asks you to get in the driver's seat and take control over whatever's going on. And for some of you, it could be dealing with the shadowy parts of us, healing deep wounds and traumas by confronting them directly. It talks about alleviating stress during challenging life transitions. And lo and behold, the actual transition card came out for what could be in our hopes and fears. So it tells me some of us may not be really favorable or comfortable in change. Doesn't even have to be like a hard, gruesome change. It's just what could be moments of I don't want to say discomfort, because it's not that. It's just moments of something that isn't like it was the day before. And it may not be exactly what you're expecting tomorrow. It's like that middle ground, but it's not a void. There is growth. There is luck. There's a bunch of stuff. There could even just be angst for some of us, and we'll get to it, right? But yeah, that was super dope. For some of you with your gifts and abilities, it talks about opening pathways between physical realms and spiritual realms. It gives a sunny disposition, which as a Pisces, or wherever it comes from in my chart, I love it. Makes us look delusional sometimes and it get on people's nerves, but we might live longer, and you probably age less gruesomely in the face, right? So I appreciate this for singles, couples, and individuals, where it says the ability to go beyond the surface. You know, we like going beyond the surface. So that's super cool. And I figured it would wake some of you up by discussing those shadowy parts, because, you know, we'd be talking about that as spiritual creatures or just people that are awakened to some degree. I loved it. It gave me like that solar plexus. I want to say a tad of sacral, but more so it's like from the crown to the wheel, you know? So I like that. The next card we had was Scorpio. Scorpio tells me something about what's crossing this. Could be my own bias, not going to lie to you. And Source knows it, Spirit knows it, so I'm going to go with the flow. The card represents deep, intense, transformative. 3 cards now that talks about transforming, transitions, and all that. So that is the message. This also talks about going beyond the surface. So does this. But the intense part of Scorpio is what came to mind. For some of you, it could represent Scorpio as in your environment, in your charts, or as a collective. It could talk about any transits that may be squaring the first house or Scorpio, because the environment is around the self, the body, the presence, the first house, and may even be connected to Aries. So there's that. Scorpio crossing. Okay, hold on. Scorpio crossing the Amatrin, where it talks about energetic, intuitive, and connected. And then we have deep, intense, and transformative, When I talked about angst, it reminded me of a reading that I did a few days ago, maybe a week, maybe a few days, I don't know, where it was like Scorpio something versus Capricorn something. And I think it was like the 10th house or one of the houses. And it told me one is calm, cool, and collected, that is disciplined and can handle certain things because it's almost like it's moving in slow motion and super grounded, or just tolerant of shit, right? Scorpio, on the other hand, in that particular position, was eager to get there. Very ambitious, almost like intolerant of anything in its way. So this puts me in the mind frame of that just a bit, but also just signifies transformation. What, much like in traditional tarot, the death card could talk about spirit encouraging us, and we're going to see what it's encouraging us about. It talks about the transit, or plain and simple, transformative energies that may be deep and intense, and us experiencing that in some way. Now the focus is grace. I love that. Okay. Grace talks about support. It's a smooth and adaptable energy to anticipate life's currents and changes as we evolve toward a higher version of ourselves. And look what's right below it in the environment, self. So I thought that was super dope, super consistent to have shuffled out 2 or 3 different decks to get this message. And I like I said, to try new things and show you guys pretty, pictures and share. It's YouTube. Not that we get tired of traditional tarot. So it talks about the earthly plane, and it talks about bringing the divine with the human essence. I love that, because some of you have this transformative energy and an advancement or an incline of some sort, where I've been seeing the High Priestess card a lot lately. I've also been seeing like cards surrounding it that are encouraging, like somebody getting close to a goal, or getting close to, a lap in the marathon, or even the finish line in a sprint. It's just like, from what I'm reading, and I've been reading for you guys for some time, it's like you're getting closer to something that's super dope. That's the best way and shortest way I can put it. Now over here in a past position, recent past possibly, it talks about nurturing your dreams along with your spiraling creative path, spiraling to a higher fulfillment. So notice this talked about a higher version of yourself, and this talked about a higher fulfillment, nourished by hope and empowered by inspiration. I absolutely love that. To think about nurture, dreams, creativity, higher fulfillment, all of that, super dope, because the empowerment card actually came out in the reading. So that's why I say hit the notification bell. It's consistent for some of you where there's this evolvement, if that's the right word. I feel that it's favorable, but I also feel that there's some other stuff going on at the same time, which may be environmental, which may be shadow work, which may be, this is new to me. I don't know, to get excited, to be afraid, to, whatever. The strength of the matter, possibly what's crowning you, that reminded me of all of this kind of like high priesty, evolved spiritual stuff. This one is with patience and hope. Silver shield blessings the soul. Silver shield blesses the soul with the wisdom of winter. Winter connects me intuitively to not only the Queen of Swords, the High Priestess. I love this like moon rock looking shindickle, the auric rocks, the moon stones and all that. When I think about the winter, we discussed this, where sometimes it comes up as like this 5 of Pentacle energy. And this time is a little bit different. It's more so your past experiences and moments of pause, moments of isolation, moments of change. You, I think, are more equipped to handle it now. And you also know that it'll pass. And you also know to not make it worse. And you also know that there's a solution. So the wisdom of winter is like someone who isn't easily shaken, understands life at this point, and pretty much has an accept all attitude of like the crone or a sage or something like that. And if you don't have that, the strength of the matter is crowning you, which gives me like crown chakra vibe, just like this purple or whatever. You may have something in you or around you that can share this energy with you, because we talked about higher versions of self. So we talk about higher self. Some people even call higher self a guardian, a guide, or God itself. And I usually refer to it as like the Holy Spirit or something like that. But end of the day, if we don't have no proof of what it is, there are a large group of people that just say, it's a higher version of yourself. Okay, whatever y'all say. Now this card, this was just here, right? But the fact that they match made me curious to see what was going on, both of them actually. So I'm going to read it. But near future excited me because guess what? It talked about divine timing, something that you're waiting on, something that you're working toward, something that we need to calm down to get to or dive deep to see. It's coming. It says through the trustworthy grace, look at that, of divine timing, my soul blooms and creatively express my unique destiny with love. Now, y'all know I favor destiny. Not that I dislike or am uncomfortable with fate, but destiny puts you in the driver's seat. Fate is what was ever supposed to be and what's going to be. Destiny is how we interact with that, counteract with that, walk around it, walk in front of it, how you manipulate the situation as a magician, as an alchemist, as the high priestess, or whatever your deal is. It gives human beings that birthright of choice and free will. So I love that for you. And this beautiful card that seemed to have connected with it shows Virgo Uranus energy. It talks about filtering vibrations and what Amazonite does best. Back to that electromagnetic pollution. Y'all know in the health reading that should have recently aired, this came up. And it talks about our thoughts and environmental influences. So when I see grace, I do think about the strength card. And I do think about why grace is in the strength card. And we all know how that lion can be and why she's there being graceful. It also talks about in the choosing, right? We could be graceful or we could be whatever else the lion is in that. And I feel like both are necessary at some points, but we're focusing on grace, okay? If you are prone to environmental sensitivity, Amazonite has your back. I feel like, it's your higher self or your guide that also has your back. But it talks about a great way to cleanse yourself from technology if you need a break from devices and so on and so forth. Also, back to these high priesty terminologies, it encourages discernment, allowing you to be unbiased in your decision making. And that's one of my favorite things to talk about, especially with my clients. They know that is big for me. It talks about being objective and that leading the way, offering clarity on which choices are best for you. It says detach from the outside in order to connect to the inside. And again, in the first house, we have self, body, and presence, which talks about you and the present moment. So that was super dope and kind of necessary, even though it was kind of like off guard. And I just thought it was pretty. The approach to take to it. Some of us still need a little bit of that fire under our behinds. Some of us, I ain't gonna lie, this is hard for me to do because, in tarot, in life coaching, and in holistic spiritual care, we all like to do this. But being brutally honest with you, for some of us that may be focusing on grace and being super tolerant of things in our environment that we're changing, it it talks about a little competitive energy. It talks about disharmony and tension. And honestly, I feel safe saying this because when I put the card down and I was like, why is the approach to take to it square. It reminded me of this lady that I saw. I don't know, it was a short or on Instagram, I'm not sure, but she said this the square up season. And she was like, that's, some of that Gen X talk. Um y'all too soft, y'all sensitive. This is the season where you square up, where you look it in the eye. This ain't no bending over backwards and tucking your tail. Square up with it. And then she had that sweaty Southern Baptist preacher vibe, but it was super dope. And for the person that needed to hear that, I'm sure they would have gotten chills hearing her say it. So squaring up through this possibly intense, transformative period of your life is somewhere in between that. They crossing each other, they near each other. This one kind of crunk, but not. And you see it got two tones to it. Grace is here, but disharmony is here. Transformative, intense is deep is here, but self is the environment. So it might not be, getting competitive and being in disharmony with others. This talks about how you're tackling something within self, possibly. I don't know. What makes most sense is because Scorpio is here, and I did use some of the astro cards. There could be some squares in your chart and in the current transits that are affecting this in some way, right? I'll take some clarifiers. I don't mind. In the environment, we have first house pointing to Aries, the number 1. Okay. Self, body, presence. How you come off, what you think of yourself, because intuitively that did come to me. It's like, this is a phase where you can show you who you are. Who do you want you to think you are? And maybe that's why the higher self, conversation kind of came up here, because who are you going to show you are? Okay. Hopes and fears. And some of you, the approach to take to it is change and transition gracefully. Our fears could be what the squares and the transits are bringing out. I do like to say that because it affects all of us differently. There's always like 3 deacon of a sign, and I'm talking to a collective of people. So keep that in mind, where some of us may not need to square up. Some of us need to be graceful with ourselves in this situation during the change. And then the hopes and fears, it talks about tension and disharmony. So anything that makes you uncomfortable during this situation is where the work begins. Okay. That makes more sense to me, but it could fluctuate and go either way for you guys. However, transition, number 7, when I thought about the Magician as number 1, okay, 43. The frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence and our lives, so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. That is so crazy. You got these same words popping up in these different cards. So I'm liking it. I've been doing that lately. And this would be great for, like, if you want to do tarot and you like, my memory's bad, or I'm ADD, or I'm dyslexic, or something like that. Child, you get it the way you need it and it'll work for you. Because even if I messed up the interpretation, it's like these words are repeating themselves, so that we all get it. And I think that's super dope. So shout out to Oracle cards. 44, universal love. Master numbers may be significant for some of you, because that's a masterish energy right there. And then you got 44 underneath it. So I think that's pretty cool, as it's crossing a card that talks about higher fulfillment, and a spiraling creative path. I don't know why, because I'm sure these numbers have been around for decades. There has been many people that connected to master numbers and even publicized them. But guess I'm a diehard fan. Anytime I hear multiple 4s, I think about Magna Carta, or he used the masculine terminology. I think I use Magda. I'm telling on myself because that's like one of my online code names for my hash. What do you call it? It's not a hashtag. It's a handle, right? I love Magda. But he used something like that, but the masculine version, Carter. Remember that? When he was finally trying to act right in his life or something like that. Family Feud, Picasso, all those songs came out. That album was 444, and I thought it was artistic. I thought it was, it had depth to it. He was transforming as a person, as a man. I don't know if he's a Mason or not, but I presume that he is. It was a lot. I think about the master number 44 and what heightened the energy by adding another one means. So look into it. I don't know, but where he was in life was so spiritual. It was so dope. It was still gangster. And it was not the same Sean Carter that had the ball cap twisted on Big Pimpin'. So I respected it. It had class to it. And it was just, I fucked with it. So to see that come up for you during a transition, and you got a bunch of fours. You got 24, and you got 43, and then you got 44. So I think that that's super dope. For whatever reason, I have no idea, but I'm diehard hip hop fan and a millennial. There could be some King of Cups energy since I am talking to Pisces, and I say that because Joy over here has the number 28. 28 is connected to that King of Cups energy, who is also connected to Scorpio. So I'll just read it since it's in my hand. The energy of joy activates our feelings of happiness and well-being and supports a high vibrational frequency in our being. Here's your being. Here's these higher frequencies that you're rising to. So be graceful during this time. It's kind of like, basically, we're on Spirit Airlines and it's taking off, and everybody knows that that's kind of rough, right? But we're going to get to where we're going. If there's turbulence, it don't even have to be turbulence. This could just be your first ride. Or you don't really like, some of us control freaks don't like being off the ground because we can't control it. It's little things, however it resonates. And now, so that my tarot cards don't feel like, no, she didn't. I'm about to use them. And then as soon as I do it, well, thankfully, okay, the Sun of Wands is upside down. So some dark nights of the souls are over. Others of us that need a little fire up under us, that night is in reverse, telling me that there could be a lack of drive, inspiration, wanting to do something new. Don't give up on those dreams. And yeah, so let's start with my little crunk card that started it all, and get some clarity on that. I keep seeing wands. I saw the Page of Wands. I saw the 8 of Wands. We have the World card with her peeking. Look at that. Her peeking. This is the wisdom. That's the guard and the... I know what I be talking about. Okay. It's a reminder that there's some cycles or some areas in life to complete. Why is... Oh, okay. I got it upside down. See, I done tore them up. Hold on. Let me do this because I have started accepting reversals, but it just ain't my thing. And I respect all y'all that I adored watching some years ago on YouTube when I was learning. And I saw readers who every card was a damn reversal. And I said, girl, you got to be playing. But then I learned to respect that tarot communicates with you the same way God could, which is to your understanding. It's not always like the textbook or what the guidebook say. And that is true, and I respect it. But they would have a whole damn thing, a whole reading, reverse, reverse, reverse. And I'm like, just admit you got the cards upside down. But, they didn't always do that. All right. Now that I'm making this correction, we also see that tarot don't come to play, or at least the traditional tarot cards, because I shuffled it one time and boom, our high priestess and our sage pop out like, what's good? Hey, we love you. And to start with the major arcana like the World card, for some of you, this is a life-changing situation. This is detrimental to your soul purpose, why you're here, or a major goal or milestone in your life. So I think that that's pretty cool. But yeah, cycles, traveling. This is also that whole electromagnetic conversation, possibly where the satellites and the signals and all that kind of stuff, and you see the stars are around. It talks about different elements of what could be going on in this place and outside of it, but it didn't necessarily point to transits, because I think that would have been more so like the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, super dope. Now for Scorpio, we have time, patience, deliberation. We have the Seven Sisters. That's probably who's helping us. It also talks about the seeds that we planted and it not going like we thought, which I did pull that in some energies the other day, where it says like something we were expecting, it didn't pan out like that, yada yada yada. I feel like this is also about the stars aligning, and traditionally it does just talk about you got your hand on your chin like, this transition requires some sort of patience. We got the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. It could be a spiritual thing. Others of you, definitely mystics, and some are just trying to figure out the mysteries of something. Here's my King of Cups. Here's my Emperor. So it's like some of us are on different levels of it, where the King of Cups is more so interpersonal. And I think the Emperor has more to do with a collective graduation, where you've gone through some small transformations and now it's about sealing the deal, and we're all on different roads when it comes to that. All right. I see 5 of Pentacles when I saw, okay. I did originally see the 5 of Pentacles. So there could be some changes in our beliefs. There could be some voids in our hearts from things that we've had to let go of. There could be some, what do they call that? I love the Kipper deck, despair or whatnot. Oh, it came back. Okay, thank you. It was just magically there because it was just in the middle of the deck. How did it happen? But there she is. Okay. Capricorn could be the underworld. It could be the crossroads. It may be different things. Things that bound us for some reason. We're overcoming addictions, overcoming negative relationships, overcoming codependency, just so many things. For some of us, it's discipline that's going to help us be graceful, because we're fighting through ourselves, right? And or some things in our environment. I don't know what it is. I ain't finna sit here and try to pull a whole bunch of cards figuring it out. You get the message. Some of you may be dealing with a Capricorn. Don't know where Capricorn falls in your chart. So here is the moon, recent past, some mysteries, the unknown, our shadow sides. Could be a moon phase. It does talk about Cancer. Again, crazy, mostly major arcanas. It's not a game. You got justice. This is forgiveness. This is also an adjustment. It could talk about legal issues. It may talk about marriages, divorces, court cases. It could talk about your background. If, some of us got some things on there. Overall, justice points to integrity and weighing the scales. And when is it our time? Justice is included in when it's our time, because effort, our own belief in how much we deserve it. And some of us have to put energy into it to feel like we deserve it. So have you done that? Other people don't have to put shit into it because they just have higher expectations and stronger manifestation skills. Doesn't matter. However you get there, you get there. We have the 6 of Pentacles, which talks about generosity. And it also points to our ability to take a branch and get to a tree versus taking a seed, planting a tree, because the 7 of Pentacles is also about seeds and the seeds that we're planting. And there's that. Okay, some of y'all are growing weed. You can't stick some plants outside. It's going to burn the fuck out of them and ruin them. That's why they use those outhouses and stuff anyway. So those of you that have certain plants, gardens, or cannabis, they require special lighting and they can't just be sitting outside getting ate up and burned up. Now, for the crown here, there's some sort of beliefs with the harmony, and the Hierophant is in the 5 of Pentacles too. So while our focus is slightly off, or not off, just not as favorable as this, there is some sort of harmony and balance for some of you. There is love, relationship, marriage. For others of you, it's an organization of some sort, and it's possibly I don't know why I just thought of the gatekeeping part of it, since I do have the Emperor here, and I brought up the Magician, and it talked about the guide right there. Remember, it talked about this higher wisdom that's guiding us. For some of you, the Hierophant could represent like a spiritual, I want to say leader, and or, like a priest, just like the High Priest is. This is a more dominant energy, and it's also organized. Where the High Priestess is just gifted, and I think it's natural. This is studied. This is like traditional. So maybe traditional for some of us is a harmonious approach, or the strength of the matter. Whatever this is, a relationship, a job, an idea, a dream, something about tradition, and something about harmony. This is disharmony. This is harmony. So we're going to see what is what. And that message is for my King of Cups. Maybe the Hermit didn't come out, but when I see 2 cups and I think about the King of Cups, the Hermit is pretty much like a shaman too. It just talks away, moving away from things that no longer serve us, in pursuit of those 2 cups that in the end gives us possibly the 10 cups. And for some of you, it gives you inspiration. And others of you, it's how it's recommended you go about making this choice or decision. Some of you, it's a Lover. Okay. There's a lot going on in the strength. Or at least what's on some of y'all mind. Harmony, love, shit working out. I get that. Near future. Okay. You might have to watch their ass. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. Okay. Really, this High Priestess is graduation into something significant. I said it. For some of you, you're evolving and elevating. That's 1. Could be a soulmate. 2, using that intuition and your gifts and abilities to make this choice. And just a reminder of what this was about. It said, the mantra was, through the trustworthy grace of divine timing, my soul blooms and creatively expresses my unique destiny with love. Some of you, your destiny is to be this creme de la creme spiritual goddess right here. And men, don't get offended. It just means that you are heavily connected to spirit. And it also says this creativity that's coming out of this cup is how we move. Nothing's wrong with that. The Knight of Cups is a very creative individual. Some of my artists and musicians, you're very charming and smart and quick-witted. You're intelligent. You got the gift of gab, and you might even look good. So I like that. We have the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. When I was just talking about it here, talking about transits, it's a wild card. It may be a gift for you. You know what I'm saying? And those of you that have gifts, you might notice that you improve, where this is one way in the situation. In the near future, I'm not going to say more complex, but there's more involved. So it goes from the world itself, which is completion, where we all trying to get to this somewhat halfway mark that's to us maybe a little bit more complicated. Because I think once you get through all of these major arcanas, by the time you get to, if you can overcome 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 is almost like, that victory lap. It may not be as complex or complicated. And even for those of us that are receiving things, closing things, opening things, opportunities, this feels more intense than if you get used to it. I mean, I strongly dislike when people say then and then inappropriately. This may be more intense than when you're used to it, built for it, closer to that higher part. You know what I mean? So either way, it's something that is memorable. And look at her right here again. So that's that shamanic energy. That's that wise energy. And also watching us. Because when I see this, it's kind of like the story of the tortoise and the hare, right? This is like the tortoise And then the Hera was sleep bullshitting, and the Taurus was continuing to go. And maybe what was pushing it, you see this light, and this light is at the crown, and what's at your crown is something that may be balancing you out also. I think that's dope. And I did mention the Hermit when we were talking about the Hierophant. Still not clearly understanding why, but I was right. That came back. Harmony or havoc. For some of us, it's not good for our health to be in disharmony, tension, or in competitive situations with competitive natured people. That ain't good for you. That's a toxic situation. That's a trauma bond. That's a soul tie. I don't care if it's energetic, behavioral, or an actual person, or how we react to life. Something right here, I don't know. Okay, so I'm just going to say that confidence may be necessary since it's so close to yourself, your body, and your presence. But because she can bring havoc or harmony, it's that Queen of Swords energy, the Hierophant, and those 2 cups that's bringing harmony and grace. This over here, I don't know. Just going to be real with you. And okay. All right. So we have Taurus, we have Libra, we have abundance, and we have anxiety. So anyone that has anxiety about abundance, it's a new situation for you. It's a new environment, and you're being asked to, have faith, to take a leap, even though you're nervous about it. And even though you may be used to things going a certain way, being laid out, plain and simple, being in the in-between could be new. For some, I'm just being nosy, just looking. If you're new to, if it's challenging for you to focus, if communication is a challenge, if commitment is a challenge, this person or this situation in the environment could have some of those challenges. For some of us, it may be spending and finance. Be mindful of that. If you get this lump sum, or if you get some gains or whatever, it could talk about that. Like the same way people overeat or indulge in toxins, sometimes it's the same way with, what do they call it? Retail therapy or something like that. We have the Father of Swords, right? So here goes some characters here. Queen of Swords is who's on our mind. For some of you, in the environment, the self is the Father of Swords. So while some of us may be tolerant and observant and just watching to see, should I? The environment calls for, hell no. No, I'm just playing. The Father of Swords is focus. The Father of Swords is precise. It's the plan. It's the general. It wins the war and the battle. It delegates task. It could be Aquarius energy for some of you, Gemini for others of you, could be an X. We could have some X's here because I got the feminine energy up there being guided by her higher version of herself. And then I have the masculine side surrounded by some things less favorable. However, grace is under this devil card. Grace is in the strength card. Courage, strength, and bravery, because some of us need it. I want to see why we need it, because we got a lot of masculine energy coming out right now. So I'm gonna get a clarifier for this Father of Swords. It also could talk about time, because that's my Father time card. This is repetition. This is sacrifice. So these are some things that we've either repetitively done and are mastering. We keep working at it. We're practicing it. Others of us, it's things that we have mastered, which gives me that past life energy of what we incarnate with that may be overly abundant. Some of you, it's a dream killer. It's a person in your environment that's a dream killer. And it'd be cool at first, but it's over as soon as it starts. So just be mindful of that. That's a tricky one. That is so crazy that whatever this means for us, I felt a shift. And I'm like, why is it? What's that shift? Like, why he come out staring like that? Truth, Gemini. Okay, I got that much. I got that. And then we have Virgo, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Chiron. Boom. Chiron is the things that we heal from. Sagittarius sometimes talks about the past, and Scorpio talks about our debts, while Virgo in the shadow energy talks about our trust issues, things that make us nervous and give us anxiety. This refers to old programming. So Capricorn ain't even bad right here. This talks about discipline. This doubles down on the discipline. Discipline to have grace through situations that are sometimes uncomfortable. Booyah. All right. What else we got here? Inner truths. Cleansing beneath the surface. We talked about beneath the surface. Thank you, little cutesies. Oh my God, see, I'll be needing these. Inner anger is why the strength card came out. See, I like to know. Y'all should appreciate it. I'm nosy as fuck because I'd be like, okay, the strength card came out. Grace is up there, but what else they talking about? And then boom, a little help for your girl. So safety and security, freeing ourselves from self-imprisonment, boom, and inner anger. And it also talks about it takes its time. I told you it was Father Time, vibrating at a slow and steady pace, which is possibly why. Oh, I shuffled him. I did see the Father of Pentacles. And when I saw the Father of Pentacles, I was like, okay, I'm confused. Because Father of Pentacles, King of Swords, where we going with this? So, let me stop. And that's what happens when you shuffle and talk and shuffle and talk. But I like to be on point. All right. So our inner anger. Okay. I get that. Grace. All right. And this comes back out. So at a crossroad, some of us may be at a crossroad when it comes to domestic matters, jobs, work. And I can resonate with that. Just as an entrepreneur, as a mom, some of you may be in long-term relationships, and it's just doing all of those things and doing them to the best of your ability while at the same time dealing with other things and being at a cross. Others of us, that Two of Swords is the veil of some sort. Here's a veil and here's the feminine energy, but it talks about, I don't know, this feels like being overly practical and logical and nonchalant. And I don't think that spiritual, intuitive, natural, magical part of you gets to live in that. Because the Two Swords is like your ability to read between the lines. And she's looking away from the lines. And what is she looking at? It looks like work. I'm focused on real stuff here. I was about to say real shit, right? And I think that kind of takes away from the magic. I swear. Yeah. Meditation, Four of Swords. I know who's listening now. Hey, girl. Hey. Meditation is important. Healing is important. Recovery is important. We've already made sacrifices and we're healing from that. Like, I've already given up this relationship. I don't know if we can be friends. Like, coming back is too soon. I'm healing from that. I've healed from that. Situations that may resurface. I've healed from that. The fuck are you doing here? Right? Not a person, a place, but possibly even a thing, our own thoughts. I just saw the Knight of Swords, our own thoughts. So she came back out. Transition, Two of Swords. Look at this. A wish fulfilled. Ten of Pentacles could talk about family. It may talk about wealth. It may talk about health. And then we have growth for some of us. I like that. Now, let's see again the key words here. Deeper understanding, ever-changing nature of existence, so that we can learn. Now, the Five of Swords has already been, the Five of Pentacles has already been used. So y'all saw how I politely turned this upside right. But down is burdensome. This is contentment with carrying a bag of bricks. And it also talks about someone who may need to drink more water, could be dehydrated, drinks a lot of alcohol, and has poor health. facing some childhood traumas and some shadow energies. Be mindful of that. All right. 2 things being true. What are those 2 things that are true? Because, oh, look, we got 2 cups, 2 swords. And that I just saw the Queen of Pentacles again. As soon as I said 2 things being true, she looked at me. I think she's still right here. So it's like, yeah, I can do this and that, but I can also do this and that, which is why she is administrative, does well in corporate America, but also makes a perfect stay-at-home mom that works remotely. I'm grounded and I'm magical because this is the queen that works with the herbs and the roots and the oils and the botanicals or whatnot, but at the same time is practical enough to make a second income out of it or use it in a manner, I don't know, that's still somewhat realistic or something. Being at a cross, maybe about children or where to go or going the distance, okay? During this transformation and your growth period, some things go really fast. And then there are little moments of voids where it feels like winter or things slow down. That's that crossroad. Like, damn, I did just come out of some shit. I'm not going to hold you. I came from a place, but I ain't got to that other place yet. Getting organized, making arrangements. Could be an arranged marriage, some shit like that. Some things that are circumstantial, or what do they call it? Contractual or something. All right. Now, okay, you want to stay out? Great. Another 4. So maybe Spirit loves Jay-Z also. So we have 4, 4, and 4 right there. And that's crazy. That's the song where he was like, ain't no, I'm telling you, if the family feud is a problem. So I'm reevaluating some things because some of my behaviors or others' behaviors could be causing some that we don't want that. So what are we going to do about it? Hopes, wishes, dreams, Aquarius, aspirations. Some of you are stars. If this and this is together, it does talk about, I ain't gonna say fame, but popularity of some sort. So some of you may move into different cycles of life where you feel more alive and feel seen. Others of you, it could involve divine beings, assisting you and guiding you and aiding you in these crossroads and uncomfortable situations. It's crazy that though the moon and the 2 of swords are right here together, which could talk about the unknown or the darkness, but your capacity to see in darkness, like nocturnal, is that what it's called? She sees in through the veil, so she sees differently. She can see with her eyes closed, which is why these trees are highlighted even in pitch dark. So that's unique. Transition and higher fulfillment. I like that. I don't know why, but I do. Something got to go and something is going. And fast, because usually when we got to give something up or we're getting something, you'll see like the Page of Cups. This one is the Knight of Cups, so there's some movement with this. And I do hope that it helps.